Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're going to slow things down a bit. Take a deep breath. We're unpacking something a little more, meditative than usual. We're looking at a pretty profound philosophical take on loss, on letting go, and on parting ways with people who honestly once meant the world to us. It's a concept that can completely reframe how you view your past relationships.
It's a totally universal question, right? Think about that best friend from college you haven't spoken to in, a decade? Or a former partner, or maybe a mentor who used to be your absolute daily sounding board. Why do these vibrant, intense connections sometimes just kind of fade away? Why does life quietly move us in different directions, and often without any explosive argument or dramatic event? We've all been there, and man, it can leave us feeling confused or even guilty, constantly wondering what the heck went wrong.
Part 1. The Last Meeting Theory. The core concept. Okay, let's dive right into this foundational idea that's been resonating so deeply with people all over the world. Now, what's really fascinating here is how a single, super brief passage, literally just a few sentences on a page, can fundamentally flip the script on how we view human connection. It takes all that heavy guilt and confusion we carry about lost relationships and just offers a completely fresh lens to look through. Let's actually break down exactly what this text is telling us. So here's the foundational premise, the last meeting theory. It proposes that once you and someone have completed your journey together and you've learned the needed lessons from one another, you will never meet again. Look at the phrasing there. It strongly implies that relationships aren't just these random chaotic collisions, right? They're journeys with specific start and end points. You part ways specifically because that mutual journey is 100% complete. The work you were literally meant to do together, it's finished.
The universe ensures you will never meet again. Let's just take a second and let the sheer finality of that idea sink in. It can feel pretty jarring at first, can't it? Accepting that someone is just gone forever, that a chapter is so permanently closed that the universe itself is stepping in to keep your paths from crossing again? Yeah, it's heavy. But as we'll see, this finality totally isn't meant to be a punishment. It's actually a massive mechanism of grace.
Section 2. Purposeful connections, finding the meaning. Let's move to this next part and see how this builds our understanding of why these endings happen and, honestly, how we can find peace within them. And this brilliantly illustrates the massive perspective shift this theory demands. When a relationship ends, our knee-jerk human instinct is to look back and think, well, I guess the whole connection meant nothing. We totally invalidate the past just because it didn't last into the future. But this theory, it offers a profound alternative. It already served its purpose. Just because something ends absolutely doesn't erase its value. A temporary presence in your life is not the same thing as a mistake. It literally just means the assignment is over. Some people are not meant to stay forever. It's such a simple little sentence, but wow, it carries so much emotional weight. It requires some really deep empathy for ourselves to accept this. It fully acknowledges the real, visceral pain of letting go of someone you cared about, while simultaneously planting this tiny seed of acceptance. We put so much pressure on our connections to be permanent. But nature tells us that seasons change, and so do the casts of characters in our lives. So, if they aren't meant to stay forever, why are they even here at all? The source text outlines this beautifully. People come into your life to teach you. Maybe they taught you how to set tough boundaries, or how to love a bit more openly. They come to help you grow, often by shoving you right out of a comfortable rut. They come to make you stronger, sometimes by challenging you or, even breaking your heart so you learn exactly how to rebuild it. And they come to make you wiser, leaving you with a way deeper understanding of yourself and the world. Temporary people are basically the ultimate catalysts for our permanent personal evolution. And then, that organic transition happens. When their part in your story is done, life quietly moves you in different directions. Notice the word quietly there. It's not a tragic failure, it's not some dramatic explosion, it's just a natural, peaceful progression of life's narrative. The current of life simply takes you down the left fork in the river and takes them down the right. You haven't failed at keeping the relationship alive, you've actually succeeded in completing its purpose. Part 3. Redefining closure, protecting peace. Now that we understand the purpose behind these fleeting connections, how do we practically apply this to actually heal and move forward? So the absolutely crucial takeaway is this. Trust that not meeting again is also a kind of closure. We are so conditioned to believe that closure requires, a sit-down coffee date, a massive text message thread, or some tearful final conversation where everything is neatly tied up with a bow. But this theory challenges that completely. Sometimes the silence itself is the resolution. The absence is the answer. The simple fact that you're no longer in each other's lives is, honestly, all the closure you actually need.
Trusting in this kind of closure does something absolutely incredible. It protects your peace. When you finally accept that a relationship has run its natural course, this theory acts like a shield. It stops you from late-night scrolling through their social media or constantly agonizing over what you could have done differently. Actually, it stops you from forcing a connection that the universe is actively trying to conclude. You stop fighting the current, and by doing that, you completely preserve your own mental and emotional energy.
And that brings us to the ultimate, super hopeful takeaway of this whole explainer. When you let go, it makes space for what is truly meant for you. Think of your life as a room. If it's entirely cluttered up with the ghosts of past relationships and forced connections, there's literally no physical or emotional square footage for anything new to enter. An ending isn't just an ending. It's a clearing of the path. It's the universe sweeping the floor so that your true future finally has a place to land.
Which leaves us with this final thought. If every ending is simply a graduation from a completed lesson, and every single goodbye clears a path for your future, ask yourself, what space are you now making for what is truly meant for you? Who or what are you finally ready to release, knowing your purpose in your story is beautifully and permanently complete? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this perspective brings you a profound sense of peace on your journey forward.